Hey everybody, B2 checking in with another episode of Clicker Heroes. And I wanted to make two quick points. First, I wanted to welcome in the UK audience. I've noticed that we've got a huge surge of guys and girls from the UK. And the girl gamers, the women gamers, are showing up. And I don't know why I looked into my demographics. I never really do that, but I was kind of just poking through things today. So I want to give a big shout out to you guys and girls. And then today I wanted to talk specifically about the Transcend or the Deep Run, and that's something that we've talked a little bit about in the past, but I wanted to highlight it again. So I wanted to look at two things specifically: all these ascensions that are current, and then the difference between Last Transcension, and we can see those stats on here, right? So let's take a look. Actually, I've started something new, and I've started just queuing in Solomon when I get it, and then going back and just filling damage in behind him. And I think it's working better than doing damage, Solomon, damage, Solomon, damage, Solomon, then doing like gold and then Solomon and doing leapfrog. I'm not quite sure how I like it yet. I'm going to have to test it a couple of times and see what works good. So what changed between this Transcension and Last Transcension? And I'll show you. I put 10 into PonyBoy and 2 more into Borb, right? And so we know the difference between PonyBoy and Borb, right? Real quick, PonyBoy is like when you step on the gas in your car and you just kind of take off really fast and you start collecting hero souls quicker, right? And there's diminishing returns of that, and I'm going to explain that after I take a look at Borb. But Borb is like the sports car with the high-end speed. He's like when you're cruising along at 55 and you drop it a gear and step on the gas and it just bolts. Like Borb is for more high-end. So PonyBoy gets you in the race and Borb wins the race for you, kind of. That's the way I look at it. But you need them both, and you need to have a ratio of that. And you can go on Reddit and bore yourself to tears for hours reading about it. I'm going to give you a very simple breakdown here, right? So PonyBoy, if you look, he has right now 3,000% effectiveness. So last Transcension, he only had 2,000, and I added 1,000 to that. I basically raised him up 50% returns. So if I was to put another 1,000 into PonyBoy this time, I would get a 33% return, right? If I go from 30 to 40, that's still a pretty good rate of return, 33% for your investment with 10 Ancient Souls into PonyBoy. But if I was to do 2 Transcensions and put 20 into PonyBoy, the difference between 40 and 50 is only a 25% return. And you can see how that's what I call diminishing returns over time. It's a very simple concept, is that the more you put into that, the less it's going to work. Just like putting extra into Chor'gorlath. Like right now, he has a 40% ancient cost, and every time you update him, he takes 5% off the remaining total. So the first one, let's say if you're dealing with 1,000%, you're going to take off 50, and it's going to go to 9,050. And then when you do it again, it's going to take off 45, because now you're diminishing returns, right? You're only taking 5% off of that 9,600 or 9,500. So you're going to go to 9,050 left, because you're only going to get 445 off for your return. But you get what I'm saying. Then the math might be different, but the more you put into that. So if I was to raise him up any more than this, look, he's only going to get, instead of a 5%, you think you're getting a 5%, but you're not. You're only going to get a 3% return. So it's not worth it to keep pumping in the Chor'gorlath. Like, get him 10 or maybe even 20 might be a good level for him, because it does bring down your ancient cost. And I would say when you get that huge amount up here that's just ridiculous, then you put 2 or 3 more levels in him for the next Transcend and move on, right? Not something I want to mess with. Now, the reason I don't have Xyliqil is that I don't play idle at all. Just straight up idle, like no clicking. I use the auto clickers now because I have 7 of them. And I believe that in the first 3,000, 4,000 levels, maybe 5,000 if you're late game, it's way quicker to do idle XP. For some reason, the game clicks that damage faster than you can put as many auto clickers in it, and it won't keep up. If you had 2 players side by side and you went to level 5,000, the guy who does the pure idle would win over time. But where he loses is where he's not using this right here, which is your combo click from Juggernaut and your Argaiv, which you want to pump up. But this combo click from Juggernaut, man, when he gets up 300, 400, 500,000 combos, look at what's happening for Juggernaut. So if I go back over to him, he's doing 1.08% DPS per click combo. So when you add that into Fragsworth for damage, where is he? Let's go back the other way. You add Fragsworth into that, who's doing 4.0 E, 12% click, and then on top of that, you're going to Argaiv up with 6.0 E, 12% with gilded damage. Like it's just insane, and your damage skyrockets towards the late game, like for deep runs. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. All right, so let's look at the difference in the Ascensions and the Transcensions. And I don't want to bore you. Well, I guess we could look at the beginning. Now, keep in mind the bigger times are overnight times, and the first run just takes forever to get your hero souls going. But if you look at the damage, or if you look at the zones, and you look at the hero souls gained, what I started doing, probably let's go to the second page. Back in here, like 14, 13, 12, somewhere around in there, I had to make a decision and say, how am I going to run this? Am I going to leapfrog damage with souls? Like, how am I going to do that? I decided that I was going to upgrade Solomon every single time as max as I could. And then I was going to fill damage in around that. And then, you know, the little Chowitos and Sniperinos and those guys around that, right? So, and of course, giving Kumawaku Maru precedence over that. So if you look on here, sorry about that. I'm at the end of a cold, and so my voice is not quite 100% yet. But if you look at 15, we had 1,000 billion, or 1 trillion, basically. 31 trillion. And then you look at the zones are creeping up here. Each time 400, 300, boom, boom, boom. Like it's going up, 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 up. This is the current run, so just disregard that for now. Watch, it's 69.93. If I click back out of it and go to the bottom, it's going to say 723, right? So just wanted to prove to you that I'm not jiving you. So basically, if you look at these 4 and 5 hour runs now, that's about where I'm maxing out my level at, is about 5, 5.5. This one will be a little bit quicker because I did raise Kumawaku Maru up again. But if you look, like we're almost at the same amount of souls, and we're 460 levels lower. So boosting Solomon again has helped to jump over this, and then we fill the damage in the round there. We'll probably ascend here in about another, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes or so. We'll see how far we get. But I wanted to show you the difference in there. Instead of doing the leapfrog method back and forth, like I'm really going to focus Solomon. And this will give us good because I'll be able to take a look between transcensions, right? And here's the difference between Last Transcension, the patch just started. Look, I'm already at 25 ascensions, and I'm almost like, that's 18 less ascensions than the previous one. And we're almost looking at, look, we're almost caught up with our hero souls gained, and our highest zone is 1,000 off. So we're still way under our highest zone ever, which we'll beat this time. We are going to have a competition on April 7th. Not really a competition, but we're just doing a fun thing where the whole clan's going to transcend together, and then we're going to kind of keep track of like where everybody's at. So you can see the information. Look, 413 hours to 145. It's not even a comparison. Like the 10 souls that I put into PonyBoy were incredible. A 50% increase in Solomon, basically 50%. So I am going to put 10 more in PonyBoy and go to 40 this round and take a 33% boost. And I'm going to use the same method where I update Solomon, and then I come back through and update the damage around that. I'm going to see what the difference is for the Transcensions. So anyway, that's the difference between the Transcensions and the Ascensions that we've been able to track and take a look at. I love looking at those stats. We are going to rack up some ancient souls here very, very soon, guys. So anyway, if you have any questions, or if you want to join us for the April 7th deal, just jump on in and keep track on the comments. So hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you later. See ya. Holla.